Greetings, Benjamin J from BENZTRAINZ with another in the series. Well, a quick follow-up on that 999 that arrived from eBay. As you see, I've cleaned up the shell, touched up the paint a bit. Didn't spend any great amount of time on it. The push rods are still covered in oxide, but I've got these covered in oil. So I'll let that set for a while, then I'll just take a single-edged razor blade and just scrape this down to silver steel again. But as you see, this 999 actually looks quite respectable. I put a lens in it, so the only thing missing is the rear truck. I've got to go through the parts and pull one out. Anyway, I've got it on a Lionel consist. I've got 12 Lionel cars on here, I think. So it's up and running, as you see. This actually runs really, really well. Let's take it up to power. Alright, there's 50%, pulling 12 Lionel cars. As you see, that runs really well. So I can turn this down. Okay, there's 40% power. So it runs splendidly. There's no problem with this at all. Turn it down a bit. There's 30% power. A good constant speed, I think. So Marx 999, eBay 14 bucks. Like I said, this guy had it on for $25. It was on there for several weeks. So I finally contacted him, made an offer, and here it is. Now I bought this just to get the motor out of it. But the motor is running. In fact, the motor is running really, really well. E-unit's working perfectly, as you see. So it's more than acceptable looking. When I get the push rods cleaned up, it'll actually be a standard average 999. So it's got the lens, number board is intact, working headlight, E-unit works. More than acceptable condition, no damage to it at all. It just needs to be, I got to put a screw on the other side. It needs to be run, and I need to add the rear truck. But even if I had just used it for parts, it was worth more than 14 bucks. You see the shells selling for more than that. So in any case, I've got to say it, don't overlook the junk. Is it perfect? Nope. Is it pretty? Not particularly. But it's a running 999 that is completely original, and a few minutes work. I mean, and this thing was up and running. I've done nothing to it as far as a repair. Simple cleaning and lubrication, nothing else. Touched up the paint with an ink marker, a couple of drops of oil, spread it out with a soft paintbrush. In fact, this is the paintbrush I use. It's getting a bit worn, as you see. And just spread the oil up. It penetrates the paint, brings the paint back to life. I just covered up the worst spots where it was really, really scratched. As you see, an average looking 999 that is up and running. So I'll add that rear truck to it, have another 999 for the collection. So this is either 15 or 16 motors that I've bought on eBay to use for parts, and all but one of them are running. I've only used one for parts out of the, I can't remember, it was either 15 or 16. So in any case, the whole point is, don't overlook the junk. You know, I'm buying the cheapest stuff I can find for parts, and it's still running. So, just a quick follow-up on this 999. Don't overlook the junk. You can get some decent stuff at a decent price. A few minutes more work. Scrape the oxide off the push rods, a good lubrication. It needs to run. And a really decent 999 for 14 bucks. Really difficult to beat that. So, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email, BENZTRAINZ@gmail.com. And as always, thank you for watching.